giving you some ideas on how you can do better. Who's ready to do better in their Herbalife business? That's our goal for today. I want to help you not only have the mindset, but I want to help you have the skills. I want to help you have the strategy. I want to help you become a better leader. I want to help you become a leader of leaders. I want to help you maximize the opportunity that is in front of you, which in my opinion is enormous. The opportunity that all of you have in front of you. It's huge. So as I start, I have to give credit. I've been involved in this profession for 36 years. And the first person I need to give credit to is this gentleman, Mr. Mark Hughes. I love this photo. It represents his vision, in my opinion, what he sees in you. I think what he still sees in you. I think he's still watching. I think he's still pushing you to do better. What a legacy he began 44 years ago. It's so rare to have such an iconic founder to set a company like this on a path for greatness, which is what he's done, Mr. Mark Hughes. And then this gentleman. I got to tell you, how many of you were able to hear Jim Rohn live at some point in your life? Those of you who were, you know how fortunate you were to be able to have that experience. Jim Rohn came into my life when I first joined network marketing in 1988. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just getting started. And somebody handed me an audio cassette that was a copy of one of his convention speeches. And the title of his talk was The Seed and the Sower. The farmer was planting good seed. And some of it fell on good ground and some of it fell on bad ground, but he kept planting. The key, if you want to have a good harvest in the fall, is to plant in the spring. And I heard his story, and his story was so similar to mine. Mine was a story of failure up until age 23. I was not successful at all. I blamed everybody else for my problems. I didn't take responsibility for anything. But through his story and having a mentor, his mentor being Mr. Schoaf, that mentor caused him to start to think different. And guess what Jim Rohn did for me? He helped me to start to think different. I bet I listened to that audio 1,000 times. I listened to it over and over and over, and every time I listened to it, I heard something new. I heard something fresh. I heard something different, because I was different every time I listened to it. That's the power of repetition. Spaced repetition. Hear something, go do some work, hear it again, you hear it different. Then go do something, do some work, and then hear it again. There's power in that. So I used to remember one of the things that Jim Rohn, I heard from him, and you've probably heard this before. Tell me if you've heard this before. You're going to become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Has anybody ever heard this? Called the laws of association. You'll become who you spend time with. And Mr. Rohn gave me 3 things that I could do if I didn't like where my life was at that moment. One is I could limit my association with negative people. I could spend less time with negative people. So I started to do that. Those people who would cause me to think small, people who would distract me from my purpose. I started to spend less time with them. Even if some of them were family members, I needed to spend some less time with them because they were distracting me from where I needed to go. The second recommendation he gave was to disassociate with some people. How many movies do you need to see where the hero is going to absolutely have a disaster if the hero does not disassociate with somebody in that movie? And since I was the main character in my movie, there were some people in my life that if I did not disassociate with them, I was not going to move forward. So the first group were the people who were distracting me from my purpose. The second group were the people who were actively discouraging me from moving forward with my purpose. And that was one of the hardest decisions I ever made in my life, was to disassociate from people who were discouraging me from my purpose. It was painful. It was not an easy decision. It was emotional to do. But I realized, and Jim Rohn helped me to realize, that if I did not change this group of people around me, then I wasn't going to change. So because I wanted to change, I was willing to make some difficult decisions. The third recommendation is, he said, spend as much time as you can possibly spend with people who are pushing you towards your dreams. Expand your association with positive people. Get around people who will not let you play small. Get around people who will push you to do greater things. And at the beginning, I thought it would be easy. Have you ever heard somebody give you the recommendation, go buy a millionaire lunch? Try. It's not so easy to go hang around with super powerful people, because you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to limit their association with you. They can't afford to spend that much time with you. You're going to bring down their average. So I had to learn how to earn my way into a different crowd. Like some of you have earned your way onto these round tables up at the front of this arena. Some of you have earned your way into the President's Club. Some of you have earned your way into founders or chairman. Some of you have earned your way in your business into Premier League already, even though it's just begun. Some of you have already earned your way in, and I needed to earn my way in. But in the meantime, I decided I would rather spend more time alone than with the wrong people. So what I did is I turned my car into a university. My car became a drive-time university. And I listened to Jim Rohn over and over again. I listened to people like Les Brown over and over again. I listened to Og Mandino, the author of The Greatest Salesman in the World, over and over again. I listened to these giants over and over again. And I used to pretend that I was driving around town and they were in the back seat of my car, and I was just listening to their conversation, and I was learning while I was driving them around town. That's what I used to pretend in my little imagination while I was trying to build a network marketing business. And I'll never forget, 6 years later, I was in Dallas, Texas, and I was in my car, And in the back seat of my car were Jim Rohn, Og Mandino, and Les Brown in real life, having a conversation. And I'm like, they don't even know how big of a deal this is for me. They have no idea that I attracted them here. They have no idea that I was willing to be alone and have a virtual mentor instead of being around a lot of people who were dragging me down. I was willing to let them be my friends, even though they were my best friends and they never even knew who I was. And then eventually we became real friends. So, to Mr. Rohn, there's no one I owe a greater debt to in my life than Mr. Jim Rohn. He helped me to rewire my head for success. He helped me to understand what it takes that for things to change, I had to change.